welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It's Friday the 23rd of October, nearly the weekend. We have new mods, we have some updates. The updates today are as follows. From top left, the Pottinger Servo 35 by DB Modding, the Rolland line by Sabo D Copyright, and the update to that is console release today. The Roadrunner Plus by Mantrid, the Lizard VN B14 by Blendart, Spidmax and Agro Sketch, the Strautmann Terra Vitesse CFS 5201 DO by Jeff D25, the Lizard Bale Trailer by Ostri, the Lizard TLF by Agro Tono LZN Gamer, the Transport Box also by Ostri, and the Brazilian Silo by Farm Centro Sul have all had updates today. Now, as I said in there, one of those, the Rolland line, the update is console release. We're going to have a look at that in a little while, but I want to just go back to this. This I looked at yesterday, on yesterday's mod review, and I missed something important on this, and I apologise. Thank you to everyone that commented to let me know. Thank you, Big Prophecy. I think you were the first one, but a lot of people did comment to say, and I did, and I apologise. This is the Australia 32 by Agro Tono, and what I missed, because I just assumed it was on the standard one. It was my fault for assuming. The standard one, as I said there, 420 horsepower, 8,750 litres, 26 slots, runs at 11 miles an hour, 14.4 metres, does your regular crop types. So it does, I say regular, your standard, so your grain type crop types and oilseed radish and grass. The modded one by Agro Tono does additional crops, so it will do the planter crops as well. It will do your corn, your sunflower, sugar beet and cotton. I missed that, so apologies for that. And obviously it has got the larger capacity. I thought I'd mentioned it, but maybe in the prep I thought don't forget to mention it, and then I absolutely forgot to mention it. Now somebody also said this runs at 21 now. They said 21, and I wondered whether they meant kilometres per hour, not miles per hour. It says 11. So in keeping things fair and making sure I haven't missed anything important. Now this is a direct drill. I didn't mention that either, and I didn't mention that because the standard one is as well. So that wasn't kind of an additional feature this mod had, but it is a direct drill as well, though my fields don't require it. Yeah, that's running at 11 miles an hour. That's the same speed as the regular one, so it's not that it runs super fast. So yeah, I thought I'd check. It doesn't hurt to make sure. But yeah, so apologies for missing that yesterday. If you were in any any doubt or in two minds as to whether you wanted to get this one, it will do all crops. So potentially you would only need this one rather than a planter and a seeder. So moving on from there, mods for today. I'll start with the Rolland line because the Rolland line is the console release. Although it says it's an update, its release is today, and we'll get on to everything else. There aren't a huge amount of mods today, but this is kind of a pack now. The other thing that's been asked of me by popular request, I say popular demand maybe, I add in the slot counts because a lot of people ask for that because of I play on console and people want to know what the slots are on console. Something else that's been asked by a few people is, can I add in what each of the mods megabyte download is, because for some people that's quite important, especially if your Modhub is filling up, and you know some mods require a lot more. I do it on maps because generally speaking with a map, the higher the slot count, the higher the megabyte download, generally the higher the slot count is on the map. That can make a big difference. I have found it doesn't quite correlate as well with mods, because some of the John Deere ones that have had very high slot counts haven't had a very high megabyte download, so it doesn't always correlate, but I will do. So from now on, as long as I remember, I'll add that in. So this is the Rolland line pack. This is by Sabo D Copyright. Console releases today. This pack will use 57.15 megabytes, so a fair chunk of change on your megabytes. There are 3 roll speed trailers, and we've got this, the Rolland DAV or DAV 14. This is a feed spreader, not a feed mixer. It is a trailer for putting your feed out, and it has got a belt there, so you can either left, right, or from the back, and it will do grass, hay, straw, total mix ration. So whilst it doesn't mix it, it's designed for spreading into a feed trough area. Nice mod. Counters on the front, as you can see, 14,000 litres. Now initially it said it was a spreader, so I was thinking, oh okay, it spreads but it also does feed. This is actually under animals, so under tools, under animals. It wasn't under fertiliser spreaders or anything like that, it was under animals, at least I think it was. There we go. So the DAV 14, this one will use 12 slots to download, requires 70 horsepower to pull, 14,000 litre capacity. Options available, we can have lizard tyres, we can have knock-ins and Trelleborgs and back again. That's it. There's no colour options, nothing else like that on it. But what we will do is hook up. I'll open up my help menu. So R1, I can do tip side right, tip side left, tip side rear. So if I back up a little bit, weird one. That's tip side rear. Tip side left. And then tip side right is obviously just the other side. So that will do your feed, hay, straw, total mix ration, all those lovely things. Moving on from that one, we'll start with the smaller one and work our way up. So we've got the Rolland line 6835. This will use 17 slots. I'll hook up to it first. Again, nicely detailed. So we've got three sizes here. That's the first one, but we'll kind of talk about them all at the same time. We've got the 6835, we've got the 7840, and we've got the 8844. That's 17 slots, that's 16, that's 16. You may be wondering why the smaller one has a higher slot count, because that's got something a little special up its sleeve, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Double axle, triple axle. Now, I have mentioned in the past about trailers, and I often fill them up just to make sure of one thing. When you get silage extension boards like those, some trailers will then only accept silage. This is one of those situations. So in their standard forms, standard with an extra sort of sideboard, they will take pretty much everything. As soon as you extend up to the silage extensions, it will only take forage crops. So again, grass, hay, straw, wood chip, silage, those things. So be careful on that. If you want a massive capacity, it will only take forage crops, so that's something to bear in mind with these. But all three pretty much identical with regard to options as well, pretty much, apart from the smaller one. The smaller one does have the option for a cover. We'll check the other two in the menu when we do that now, but I don't think the other two have an option for a cover. Very nice trailers. So with this one, actually with all three of them, if we look in the menu now, if I press R1, it says tip side, and we've got a raising option there. Now this is a very clever little tool. You've got grain door, so you can unload from your grain door, no problem at all. If I go tip side 10% raising, when I unload, it will only raise 10% and then carry on unloading. So when it gets to 10% angle, it stops. So if you're under an unload point or in a shelter or wherever it is, and you haven't got a lot of headroom, a lot of overhead space, it won't tip all the way up. You can adjust that setting. So if I do it again, we can go on all three of these. We can go 10%, 25%, 35%, 45%. So I do it again on 45%. It will tip all the way up, like so. It goes up to 45%. But what this one also has, the smaller one, if I go R1, no, L1, L1 and right stick, if I do right stick up and down, it can do that. Hence the extra slot count. So you can tip into, well, if you're putting fertiliser in or something like that, you can tip into seeders, you can tip into higher objects. I'm not sure if that'd be high enough. It might be, you know, to tip into digesters at the BGAs. I know sometimes it won't take it from trailers, but potentially. And then when it does that, it will go, and if I unload now, it goes all the way up. That's amazing. That's pretty cool, that. Look at that. Although, look now at the actual hydraulic ram. Not sure that would be actually working anymore. May have broken it. So the smaller of the three, the 6835, has that function. The other two don't. If I bring that down now, L1 and right stick, and down we go. So that's that one. And then the other two, again, we've got the option for the different angle for tip, but there's not the option, you don't have that raised option underneath under the axle. There's no pistons under there for levering up. So this one I'll do all the way to 45, and we'll let it go all the way up so you can see. As long as it goes all the way up before we empty. There we go. I do like that as an option, that you can change that, so if you are under something, it does happen quite a lot in various different locations and different maps. When you're unloading, you don't have a lot of headroom. That's a pretty cool function to have on that. And the larger one does exactly the same, it's just a little bit larger. So, close the menu off. These you will find, we've already looked at the DAV14, that was under animals. These you'll find under tools, under trailers. So we'll start with the smaller one, 6835. As I said, 17 slots, 16 slots, 16 slots. So with this one, I think with all of them, we can change the main colour to the Rolland Blue 70 years, Rolland Red, Rolland Green, Rolland Black, or Rolland Yellow. The rim colour, we can change anything on that, like so. Then design colour, if we change the design colour, that will be for the cover if you have a cover. So we've got configuration standard, we've got sugar beet bodywork that puts it one side for offloading from a sugar beet harvester into it. We can have the grain bodywork, and in these configurations we're fine for most crop types. It's when we move on to the silage bodywork, then it will only take silage forage type crops. So we've got the different sizes there. We've got 23,000 litres, 26,500 for sugar beet bodywork, 28,000 litres for grain bodywork, and 39,000 litres for silage. Then we've got options of Trelleborg, Michelin, Nokian and Lizard. Under Trelleborg we've got standard and wide. Under Michelin, standard and wide. Under Nokian, standard and wide. Under Lizard we've got standard, let's just change the tread, wide and wide. So there are 4 options under Lizard as opposed to the 2 on the other ones. So those are the options that. But if we go back to grain bodywork, it then gives you the option for cover. So if I click on that, as you can see, it puts the cover on it, and the cover is in the design colour, whichever you choose. So that's on the 6835, the smaller one. There is a cover option. If we go to the next one, the 7840, all the other options are exactly the same. Colour options, rim options, configuration is slightly different in that we can have grain bodywork, which takes it from 27,000 litres to 32,000 litres. There is no sugar beet one on this. Then it goes up to silage bodywork, which takes it to a 45,000 litre capacity, but again that will only then do forage crops. There is no cover option. So on this one, on the grain bodywork, there's no option for a cover. It's just on the smaller one. And then on the larger one, the 8844, we start off on 30,000 litres. All the other options are exactly the same as the previous ones. Grain bodywork takes it to 37,000 litres. Silage bodywork to 51,000 litres, but the same thing again. I know I'm repeating myself over and over, but just to make sure people are absolutely clear, in that condition you can only do forage crops. So that is the Rolland line by Sabo D copyright. Console release today. Moving on, we have got this. This is the Massey Ferguson 7370 Brazil. This is by JA Modding and Hugo Miotto. Nice mod. I do like the rounded tyre option on this. That's why I went for it as the sort of test model. There aren't a huge array of options on this. It's a nicely made mod. This will use 27.68 megabytes to download. Fairly high considering there aren't a huge amount of options on it. See, this is why I don't like getting into the megabyte thing. It's not something I've ever really paid much attention to. I think it comes more down to management of your Modhub and how many mods you've got installed. I kind of just spend a lot of time deleting ones I'm not using and adding in ones I need. I don't often pay that much attention to it. But I don't want to get into that thing of saying, oh, no, that's surprising. It's a high high megabyte download for the mod that you get. But I'm just saying that's what it is. But it's a 41 on the slot count as well. Fairly high. I do like the fact we've got the Brazilian flag there on the front. Does sound nice. Does look nice. Lots of detail. But like I say, not a huge amount of options. This you'll find under vehicles, under medium tractors. There we go. 95,000 for the base model, 170 horsepower. As I've already said, it's 41 slots for the first one. So pretty high. We can have an option of, on the tyres, Lizard, Michelin, Trelleborg and back again. And the Lizards, which is the more rounded ones that I went for, standard or rear twins. Michelin's, standard or rear twins. Trelleborg, standard or rear twins. There are no other tyre options at all. There's no narrows or weights or anything like that. That's what you get, and then we're back to Lizards again. Then we've got on the front design, we've got 340, well it says 340, I assume it's a 340 gram weight or nothing, so those are the only two options for that. Then engine setup, we've got the 7370 at 170 horsepower, and we've got the 7370 chip tuning, which says 210 horsepower. Now weirdly, on the website Modhub it says 220. Not sure which is correct, but 210, 220, but it says 210 there, so that's what we'll go with. And that's it, that's the options available. Although you get a 210 horsepower tractor there for 120 grand, which isn't too bad, in all honesty. And if I change my wheel setup, actually, you know what, it doesn't matter what you have it on, you're paying for tyres no matter what you do. Just notice that. So that's another one of those ones that gives you the option and says it's 95 grand, but whatever you have is 105. So that's a bit of a misnomer, isn't it, really? Is that the right word, misnomer? Yeah. Anyway, regardless of that. That is rolling coal. It's chucking out a lot of muck. Look at that. Horn. Lights. We do have a door that opens. Let me just check. L1 and right stick up and down opens and closes the left door. Like so. In cab. Nicely detailed. Joystick animated as well. And that's it. That's, you know, that's the tractor. That's what it does. That's the options available. That's the Massey Ferguson 7370 Brazil by JA Modding and Hugo Miotto. Moving on, we have got, I think this is it. Yeah, we've got two low loaders today. One is a more kind of, I suppose, military style looking, a real heavy duty one. This is the Lizard CH5523 by Carl 911. This is another one of those ones that's got a positive and negative to it. And again, I'm not bashing the modders, I'm just saying what's here. I'm reviewing them, that's the whole point. We do have a standard option, which is a standard width, like so. We do have an option to have these front fenders removed, as I have got in this one. So it's more open like that. And there's also a wide load version, which is this one here. It's got a much wider platform. This doesn't have straps or anything, so it is really just for vehicles. And it does say in the Modhub, interestingly, it says enhanced fixation. So you will be fixated on this a lot. That's just a fact. It says it in the Modhub. We've got a few options we're going to have a look at in store. Then we're going to have a look at the enhanced fixation. But one of the drawbacks I found immediately, and it's not only on this one, we get it a lot on low loaders, we get the option of a wider bed, or we get ones that have beds that extend and all those kind of things to get wider loads, but the ramps don't on all of them. Some do, so it's all well and good having a much wider bed, but if you can't get the vehicle up onto it because the ramps aren't, that's a bit of an issue. Plus on this one, it's got very, very steep ramp. It sits very high, so the ramps are actually very steep. I tried to put the Brazil on that to bring it down, and it wouldn't go onto it. I couldn't get it onto the platform. So, yeah, something to bear in mind. What we are going to do, though, I'm going to put a big old harvester on it to check it. The only downside with that, though, I say downside, not really. You have to reverse the harvester on. Because of how steep those ramps are, it catches the front threshing unit intake section on there. Not threshing unit, the throat, the intake. So that's something to bear in mind as well. This you will find under tools, under low loaders. There we go, the CH5523, 17,000 to buy. It is 8.18 megabytes. It will use 4 slots. Options available. We can change the rim colour to anything on that palette, like so. We can change the main colour to anything on that palette, like so. Then design, we've got standard. Actually, we'll swing around to the front because I think it does fenders first. Standard without fenders, so it removes those fenders off the front section. And then we can have it wide decking. I mean, it doesn't increase it massively, but then a lot of them don't. So those are the options available on it. Right, now let's hook this up. Now what we do have is, open up the menu, R1 and right stick up and down raises and lowers those rear ramps. Then L1 and X folds loader and it puts those little straps on. If you can see those there, the little connectors. Now that means with that folded up, you lose the option to put those ramps down. So it locks it into place. If I then unfold loader, L1 and X takes those away, and now the option returns to put the ramps down. So bear that in mind if you're trying to put the ramps down. If you do fold or unfold low loader, that doesn't do the ramps, that just does the little spring clip things on there to allow it to be done. Then it's a manual raise and lower, like so. What I'll do is grab this. Now even this, I'll be honest, it's close, and that's what I mean. It comes down to those, how narrow the actual ramps are, that you are right on the edge with this of getting it on there, but it will go on. I mean it is right on the edge, but it will fit. And what I found was it's got a very sticky bed. Just lock that in place. So it's not top heavy, surprisingly, considering how it's. Oh, you're joking. I drove this thing round and round in circles and nothing happened, and I thought, well, I can definitely say on the mod review it's not top heavy. And then what does it do? Decides it's going to roll over. I mean, obviously you shouldn't be cornering at 60-70 mile an hour anyway, but if I speed up now and then suddenly brake, what you often find with low loaders and flatbeds and things like that is the vehicle will move. So jam on the brakes. Okay, you know what, I'm done. I tested this thing repeatedly to make sure it wouldn't do that, and what's it go and do? It rolls and the vehicle moves on the bed. It's doing it on purpose. This game's trying to break me. It is honestly trying to give me a nervous breakdown. Well, okay, so I take that back completely. It is moving on there. Well, as I've said before, take from that what you will. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I can't believe it just did that. Oh dear. That's the Lizard CH5523 by Cole911. I've got one more mod, then I'm having to lie down. The last one, I'm just going to grab the trailer again, the lorry again. This is the LB3526. This is by FarmSimWorld and FS Modding. This will use 10.12 megabytes. It's 6 slots to download. Has a much lower centre of gravity. We do have the lowered well in this bottom here. Now I would say, because I tested this as well, the bed on this was just as, it was just as sticky. Everything, worked perfectly when I tested it. Is it going to do that again now? Probably not, just to torment me. Bear with me a second. Right then, L1 and X folds it up. There are straps on the deck of this one, so you can use it for pallets and things as well. And obviously if you've got the strap mod, or you've got any of the tools that allow things to be strapped down, you can put them on the bed of this, whereas the other one doesn't have straps. Let's see now, shall we? It's probably going to do the same thing now, isn't it? This is much lower, so it has got a much lower centre of gravity. It doesn't have a tendency to want to topple, which is quite nice. Let's jam the brakes on, see what happens. Ah, that didn't move. That's really weird with the other one. But anyway, yeah, not bad at all. That's the LB3526. We'll have a look at it in the store menu. Now, like I said, this one doesn't come with a wide bed option to it, so it is a fairly standard kind of low loader in essence. You'll find this under tools, under low loaders. There you go. The LB3526. 28 grand, 6 slots. Oh yeah, colour options. We can change the rim colour to anything on that palette, and we have got options on this. We've got mattes, we've got satins. There are some polished metal, chrome. Main colour again with this, we've got mattes, satins, green matte, green satin. The difference between the mattes and the satins, I really do like the satins as an option. I really like those. Then wheel setup, we have got standard, we've got standard 2. This actually changes the hub, so standard, standard 2, advanced hub, and then outside hub, which brings the hub right out. And those are the options on that one. And with that, we have come to the end of the mod review for today. I hope you found it useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. Look at that. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Have a lovely weekend. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.